Welcome student for the course of MBA semester 3 Human Relations and Legal Framework. Today is our lecture number 13 and the topic of our today's discussion is the Trade Union Act 1926. The objective of our today's session is to help to understand the Trade Union Act 1926. The contents of today's session are Introduction to Trade Union Act 1926, definition of the trade union according to section 2H of this act, the registration of trade union, cancellation of registration of the trade union, legal status of registered trade union, appointment of office bearers of trade union, change of name and registered office of a trade union. So first of all, we are just going to give some brief idea about what exactly the trade union and the introductory part of this Trade Union Act 1926. Trade union means exactly the workers organization wherever the workers are being united, okay, and participating in several activities which are conducted by that particular organization, and these trade union will protect the legitimate rights of the members of the trade union. So whenever we are talking about the introduction of this trade union, it specifically deals with the registration of trade union, the rights and liabilities as well as the responsibilities what exactly they want to do, especially for the members, okay. Particularly they are also conducting some activity with respect to fundraising, and that fundraising even can be utilized during the period of strike or lockout also. So this gives some legal and corporate status to this registered trade union according to this Trade Union Act 1926. So specifically when we are talking about the Trade Union Act 1926, so it gives rights specific form of protection and privileges to the members of the trade union. It also seeks to protect them from civil and criminal prosecution so that they could carry on their legitimate activities for the benefit of working class. So they primarily protecting the working class or any member those who are involved in any kind of activities, say for example any civil matters or any kind of criminal prosecution that goes under the civil court. So these trade unions, they try to protect the legitimate rights of the working class or workers. This act extends the whole of India and applies to all kind of unions of workers, okay, as well as association of employers also, which aims at regularizing the labor management relations. So these form of trade unions, okay, these are not only protecting the legitimate rights of the workers. So these trade unions will be also helpful to harmonizing the labor management relations across the all the organization. So this will cover the various kinds of trade unions of workers as well as the association of the employers. The primary objective of this act is to provide for the registration of trade union and in certain aspect, okay, or respect to define the law relating to the registered trade union. So this law will be helpful to define what exactly the registered trade union, okay. So primary objective of this act, okay, how to make the registered trade union. So according to section 2H of Trade Union Act 1926, the definition of trade union will be, trade union means any combination, okay, or whether temporary or permanent, formed primarily for the purpose of regulating the relation between the workman and employers, or between workman and workman, or between employers and employers, or for imposing restrictive conditions on the conduct of trade or business, and include any federation of two or more trade unions. So once we see this definition, okay, that definition may be either, okay, it is any combination. So there will be single trade union or combination of more than one union, okay, and one can form the amalgamation of that trade union also. It should be either temporary or permanent, okay. The status of trade union, okay, whenever it is in the process of registration, then it should be a temporary, okay. After registration it would become permanent. Form primarily for the purpose of, the basic objective behind formation of the trade union is to regulate the relationship between, okay, the labor and management. But here that we should have to describe for the purpose of regulating the relation between the workman and the employers, or between the workman and the workman, or between the employers and the employers. Means what? Okay, there may be a possibility that the employers even themselves they can have their own trade union also, or there is another form of condition that is applicable for this trade union for imposing some restrictive conditions on the conduct of any trade or businesses. To impose some restrictions by means of using this trade union on some trade and businesses, okay, or it includes any federation of two or more trade unions. So there may be a combination of two or more trade unions, okay, that is included in this trade union according to the section 2H. So in general, okay, the trade unions means any combination or association between the, okay, workmen and employers, or between workmen and workmen, or between employers and employers, to protect their own individual legitimate rights, okay, that will be called as what? Trade union. Then the next topic is registration of the trade union. When we are talking about a registered trade union, okay, that time, okay, the whatever trade union has been existing in the organization, they should have to follow certain processes with respect to the registration of this trade union. Registration of the trade union is not compulsory, okay, it is not compulsory to all the organization, but it is desirable since a registered trade union enjoys certain rights and privileges according to the Trade Union Act 1926. Means, okay, there is no necessity to make the registration compulsorily, okay. If there will be a temporary association in between the worker, that can be also treated as the trade union, okay. But if the trade union is registered, okay, according to the that Trade Union Act 1926, whatever process has been there, okay, so that registered trade union will enjoy some particular rights and privileges. So how to form the trade union exactly? So minimum 7 workers of any establishment, okay, or 7 employers of any organization, they can form a trade union, okay, and they can make an application to the registrar of the trade union. That is called as registrar of the trade union, okay, and the process of registration form is submitted to the registrar of the trade union. The application of registration should be prescribed in the form and accompanied by the prescribed fee, a copy of rules and union signed by at least 7 members, and a statement containing, okay, some related matters. Whatever form of registration form with respect to the process of registration of the trade union, okay, that registration form, okay, need to be submitted to the registrar of the trade union, okay, along with some necessary fees, okay, along with also copy of rules of the trade union, okay, signed by minimum 7 members, okay, who are going to form that trade union, and there will be certain type of information. Okay, that information must contain the name, address and occupation of the members, okay, making the application. Those 7 members, those who are going to register that trade union, all 7 members, their names, addresses and occupation, okay, need to be specified in that registration form. The name of the trade union and address of its head office, whatever registration that is going to be registered, okay, the name of that trade union also specify in the registration form along with the address of its head office. This will also include some title, name, ages, address and occupation of the office bearers. Okay, whoever, those who are the members of the trade union. Apart from that, okay, suppose there will be more members, okay, or even that 7 members, okay, their titles means the designations, their name, age as well as addresses and occupation, okay, of that office bearers. That office bearers are nothing but the officers, okay, those who look after all the working of that particular trade union. So all these details need to be submitted in the registration form, okay, and that registration form should be submitted to the registrar of the trade union. Once it has been identified, okay, by means of completing all the responsibilities and fulfilling all the necessary conditions with respect to registration of the trade union, okay, the certificate of registration will be issued, okay, by the registrar of the trade union. Now once we came to know how to make an application to the registration of that trade union, if the union has been in existence for more than a year, then the statement of its assets and liability in a prescribed form should be submitted along with the application of registration. So if any particular trade union has been existing more than a year, so with respect to whatever the statement and of its assets and liabilities which are available to them, suppose say for example building, offices, okay, or any other form of assets which are available to them, they should have to enclose in some particular statement along with certain kind of income statement or profit and loss account, okay, or in balance sheet, that is need to be provided while making the registration of the trade union. The registrar may call for further information for satisfying himself that the application is complete and in accordance with the provision that the proposed name does not resembles. So if on account of whatever form of registration form has been submitted by that trade union, so that registered of union look after each and every application very specifically, okay, whether they have made all the necessary conditions, okay, which has been specified for the process of registration of the trade union, okay, if it has not been resemble, okay, with respect to what is the formation, what is the objective of formation of that particular trade union, okay, so or along with whatever the proposed name of that trade union, okay, then and then only the registrar of the trade union will be issued the certificate of registration. On being satisfied with all the requirements, the registrar shall register the trade union and issue the certificate of registration, which shall be conclusive evidence of its registration. Now once the registrar of the trade union has been satisfied what is the formation of that particular trade union, what is the objective behind that, who are the members in that trade union, who are the office bearers of that trade union, along with all the necessary documents, okay, for example assets and liabilities, okay, once it has been identified that all the relevant documents are satisfied enough to issue, okay, the registration of the trade union, okay, the registrar of the trade union finally issues the certificate of registration to that particular trade union. So there is for certain kind of provisions has been there with respect to the registration of the trade union. So no trade union of workmen shall be registered unless at least 10% or 100 of workmen, whichever is less, engaged or employed in the establishment or industry with which it is connected are the members of such trade union on the date of making an application for registration. So whenever any trade union that they are going to make an application for the registration of the trade union on that particular date, okay, no trade union of the workman shall be registered unless at least 10% of the workers must be employed, okay, in that particular factory uh, or industrial enterprise, or it can be extended to 100 minimum workmen to be employed in that particular factory or any establishment. So so this is the minimum condition or provision that should be made available according to the Trade Union Act 1926. Now the cancellation of the registration of the trade union. Now once the process of registration goes, the registrar of the trade union look after each and every aspect with respect to the what form of documents that they were applied for the process of registration. Okay, so the certificate of registration of the trade union may be withdrawn or cancelled by the registrar. Okay, that is called as registrar of the trade union on the following grounds. So there will be some necessary conditions. On that basis, if the registrar of the trade union find out that, okay, if these conditions are not satisfied, then the registrar of the trade union either withdraw or cancel the certificate of registration of that particular trade union. So the first condition will be on the application of the trade union to be verified in such a manner as may be prescribed. So whatever form of application has been made for the registration of the trade union, okay, that trade union need to specify their names correctly, and whatever the objective of formation of the trade union, it should be clearly specified in the registration form. If the registrar is satisfied that the certificate has been obtained by fraud or mistake, or that the trade union has ceased to be exist, or has willfully and after notice from the registrar contravened any provision of the act, or allowed to rule to continue in force which is inconsistent with any such provision, has reconciled any rule providing for any matter provision for which is required by the section number 6. Now once it has been identified by the registrar of the trade union and satisfies that, okay, if whatever form of process of registration has been made, okay, and it is according to the law, then and then only the certificate of registration, okay, will be issued. But if it is, okay, it is identified that the registrar has identified, okay, that certificate of registration has been obtained by means of any kind of fraud or mistake by that particular trade union, okay, that trade union has to be ceased to be exist and has willfully and after the notice from the registrar contravene any provision of the act. So means that trade union has to be communicated by the registrar of the trade union, okay, you can cease to be exist, okay, and stop your operations, okay, with respect to whatever that trade union has been doing, okay, and has been willfully communicated with respect to certain notice by that registrar of the trade union, okay, and contravene any provisions of the act. So whenever any kind of trade union, those who are being obtaining any kind of certificate with respect to registration of the trade union, okay, that the registrar of the trade union will take some necessary action on that trade union and cancel the registration certificate, or they may be allowed to any rule to continue in force which is inconsistent with any such provision, okay. On satisfying some particular condition, they will be allowed to regulate their activities, okay, using the whatever the form of provisions has been made in the Trade Union Act 1926, okay, and if it is found that there is some inconsistency in such provisions, okay, then it has been reconciled any rule providing for any matter provision for which it is required by section 6. So according to section 6, okay, there will be some further necessary conditions, okay, if it has not been followed with respect to that particular trade union, okay, in that case also the certificate of registration will be cancelled. If the registrar is satisfied that the registered trade union of the workman ceases to have some requisite number of members, okay, there is a minimum criteria, okay, that is what minimum 7 members can make an application for the registration of the trade union, okay. If there is no 7 members, in that case, okay, the registrar of the trade union can cancel the certificate, okay, of registration of that particular trade union. Now the legal status of registered trade union. Once the trade union has been registered, okay, they will get the certificate of registration, okay, and it will get the legal status according to the Industrial Dispute Act also, and as well as Trade Union Act 1926. So the registered trade union is a body corporate with perpetual succession and common seal, okay. Once the trade union has been registered, okay, it will become a body corporate according to the law, okay, and they can exist and perform their operations using certain common seal, okay. So they will get some legal status. It can acquire, hold, sell, transfer any movable or immovable property and can be a party to any contract. Even once the trade union has been called as registered trade union, so they can acquire any form of property, sell any property, or transfer any movable or immovable property, and even they can make a contract with any other third party persons. It can sue and can be sued in its own name, okay. So whatever the name which has been mentioned in the registration of the trade union, okay, it will be named like it only, okay. So its name that could not be changed. So no civil suit or other legal proceeding can be initiated against the registered trade union in respect of any act done in furtherance of the trade dispute under certain conditions. So there will be different provisions under the trade dispute act or industrial dispute act, okay. So even once the trade union is being registered, so one cannot make any kind of legal proceeding in the civil court, and or any civil suit or appeal that could not be formed against any registered trade union, okay. So there will be certain processes only, okay, to which the one can put the dispute according to whatever conditions has been laid down under the Industrial Dispute Act 1947. No agreement between the members of the trade union shall be void or voidable merely on the ground that any of its objects in its restraint of the trade. So no agreement between the members, whatever number of members, those who are employed in the registered trade union, they cannot involve in any form of agreement or contract with any other parties, particularly those who are the office bearers. Now we are going to start the appointment of office bearers for the trade union. Now whatever the trade union has been there, that trade union must be a registered trade union, okay. So they can initiate the process of first, that is called as the registration of the trade union, okay. Simultaneously they will also mention who will be the office bearers while making an application for the registration of the trade union. So there will be some minimum conditions. At least 50% of the office bearers of the union should be actually engaged or employed in that industry with which the trade union is concerned, and the remaining 50% or less can be outsiders such as lawyer, politician, or social worker would be there. So suppose there are 100 workers are being supposed to be there, okay, out of which 50% means minimum, out of which that 50% would be an office bearers, okay. So that should be the minimum criteria, okay, to appoint the office bearers in that trade union, and rest of the other members, those who are belonging to the society, okay, out of which, okay, there will be lawyer, politician, or any social worker, those who are belonging to that particular area, okay, they can be appointed as an office bearers of that trade union. To be appointed as an office bearer or executive of that registered trade union, a person must have. So there is a minimum condition for to appoint any office bearers or executives of that trade union. So that condition may be he or she must attain the age of 18 years. So it is a very essential criteria. Not being convicted of any kind of offenses, okay, there is a spelling mistake over here, okay, that is called as offenses involving moral turpitude, and sentences to punish imprisonment or a period of at least 5 years has been elapsed since his release. Okay, so it should be very clearly mentioned over here in this condition that whoever the office bearer has been appointed as an executive in that particular trade union, okay, he must complete a minimum of 8 years, as well as he do not convicted any kind of offense, okay, or he has not been sentenced to any kind of imprisonment for minimum of 5 years, okay. So there is a minimum condition, okay, which should be specified with respect to the appointment of office bearers. Now, change of name and registered office of the trade union. Okay, if the registered trade union want to change their name, okay, or if they want to change the office, okay, whatever registered office which has been mentioned in the certificate of registration of the trade union, okay, if they want to change their registered office, place of that registration registered office, okay, there is some necessary conditions, okay, according to which they should have to make an application to the again the registrar of the trade union, okay, and apply for change of name and to change the registered office of that trade union. So a registered trade union may change its name with the consent of at least 2/3 of its total number of its members. So there will be a minimum criteria if somebody or any of the trade union wants to change the name of that trade union. So out of whatever number of total members, 2/3 of the total members that they should vote in favor of whatever form of name, okay, they want to change. So it should be a very important condition if they want to change their name. So 2/3 of its total members should be specified according to some sort of voting, okay, whatever names that they want to change. Notice of change of name in writing signed by the secretary and 7 members of the trade union should be sent to the registered. Those who are the office bearers of that registered trade union, along with, okay, some office secretary, those who are being looking as an executive or office bearers of that particular trade union, they should have to make an application, okay, in writing, okay, signed by all the members of that trade union, okay, whatever name that they want to change. The registrar shall register the change in the name, okay, if he satisfies that the proposed name is not identical with the name of any existing union, and the requirement with respect to the change and the name has been complied with. Now once they were made an application to the registrar of the trade union for changing the name of that trade union, okay, so the registrar of the trade union look after, okay, is there any particular name which has been already existing, okay, if suppose there is a duplication of them, okay, their change of name of application could be get rejected, okay, and the requirements with respect to the change of name has been compiled with. So whatever name that they want to change, okay, so there is again a minimum requirement, okay, how should be the name of that particular trade union and they want to change, okay, if they are not satisfying that particular criteria, okay, the registrar of the trade union okay, on satisfying of whatever form of condition has been specified under this act, either they will accept that application, or even they can reject that particular application once they are not satisfied. The change of name shall not affect any rights and obligation of the trade union, render any legal proceeding by or against the trade union as defective. Now it is the matter, okay, that is some any legal matters or legal proceeding that goes against any particular trade union, okay. In that case, okay, the change of name of that trade union could not be made possible. So the change of name shall not be get affected any rights and obligations of the trade union. So whatever the trade union, those who are making an application for change of name and registered office of the trade union, they should clearly mention why does that they want to make the change in the names as well as registered office, okay. Their rights and obligation could not be get affected, okay, or they can render any legal proceedings or trade against any trade union as defective. So it should be mentioned very clearly, okay, whenever any trade union wants to make the change in the name as well as registered office of the trade union. Specifically, whenever we are talking about the change of registered office, okay, the notice of change in the registered office address should be given to the registered in writing within 14 days of such change. If the registered trade union has changed their registered office, okay, from one place to another place, okay, so minimum within 14 days, okay, the registered trade union could make in writing an application to the registrar of the trade union. So minimum time, okay, that has been specified according to registrar of the trade union, okay, and within that 14 days, okay, the registered trade union need to inform to that registrar of the trade union, okay, for the change in the registered office, okay, whatever place that they were chosen. So that's all about our today's session. We will see some other different aspects of that Trade Union Act 1926. Thank you very much.